So I just got done doing a UA. I actually attended AI Advantage Summit. It was from 11 to 2. And the UA place, Recovery Works, here in Newburgh, closes at 3. So I called them because it was supposed to be over at 2. But since I did the VIP, which is only $1, they do a Q&A at the end, which I didn't know because the first time I did on YouTube, because I knew I could record it on YouTube, or I knew but it still was there. Like, anyway, so they did Q&A, so that lasted like 20-30 minutes. So they close at 3. It takes me 20 minutes to get there, and then I had to go to the bathroom and different things. So I called there and I said my class just got over. I'm supposed to have a UA today. It takes me 20 minutes to get there. She said, oh, you're fine. You know, you'll be here by 3:45, which was kind of strange, but I made sure I hit Newburgh. So when she said 3:45, it was kind of strange. But anyway, so I said, okay. So I said, just expect me to be there. She said, okay. I got there, and the lady, I don't know. She usually was kind to me. She kind of has a rough edge to her, but yeah, she was snotty. She was like, look at the time, blah, blah, blah. I said, I had a class, and and she said, well, we were supposed to close the doors. And I got there at 3, exactly at 3. And she was snotty, like I should have been there earlier, like we were about to close, blah, blah, blah. The door's supposed to be locked. And I said, well, I called up here. And she said, I told him I was coming. Before that happened, she said, you know, look at the clock, and was snotty. And then she's like, well, if we do it fast. I said, yeah, let's do it. I said, my class was more important. Oh, she caught that because I was going around the corner. So I got there, and she said, and she kept going on about how it was supposed to be closed. I said, I called up here, and I told them that my class just got over, and I was on my way, and they said, okay. She said, who did you talk to? I said, I don't know, some female. And she looked around, they're all females. She was like, that doesn't help. I was like, I know. And she was like, what's your date of birth? And I told her 10/2/87. She wrote it down. She handed me the cup, and I went straight into the bedroom. Straight into the bathroom. Usually I'm kind, you know. I was in a good mood. I was, because I signed up for the AI Advantage boot camp, and bless me, the Lord blessed me with the money to do it. And I will make my own clone and learn how to monetize and reproduce my content and become a content creator. Basically what I'm trying to be doing. And I didn't know how to do a clone and all that stuff. And Dean Gravioli, I don't know, and Tony Robbins, they seem like very genuine people. They do, because they do summits, and it's only $1. If you want VIP, it's only $1. Like, and Tony Robbins, his mission is to feed America and all the other countries. Like, he's donated so many meals, because when he was 11, he didn't have no food. And his dad got mad when somebody came to the door. It was Thanksgiving. All they had was crackers and peanut butter. I think that's what he said. Somebody came to the door, anonymous, and had groceries for him and a turkey that they can bake and all this stuff. And, you know, he's 11. He was like, you know, in his eyes, it's like genuine people. There's some good people out here. His dad, on the other hand, it hurt his pride, and he ended up leaving, type thing. It kind of tore him apart. But that's where he gets his drive from, is that experience. Dean, I don't know. I don't know his story exactly. He seems very knowledgeable. I don't know if he's been through some shit or not. I don't know. He just likes to help people. So I invested in it. It was $995, which seems like a lot. But the fact that I can do all these things, I can get my clone made, I can know how to monetize, I know how to make one content and make it into numerous contents. And the fact that I've made over 400 some videos this year. Actually, 800. 400 is on YouTube. That's unlisted. Nobody can see them. But I talk about a lot of stuff in there. So I already created my content. Anyway. Hallelujah. Anyway. So I pissed in the cup. Went out, kind of set it down. Usually I just did it gently. I just set it down. Went back in there and washed up, whatever, and headed out. And I just walked out fast. And she said, bye, Lisa. Have a good day. I said, you too. You could hear it in my voice. Like, bitch. You came at me sideways. Like, I was in a good mood. You didn't have to do all that. And so I walked out. So I said, yeah, you too. And I walked out. Because I'm usually very friendly, you know? And she's really friendly. She had an attitude like a motherfucker. I want to slap the shit out of her. Seriously. Some people need a reality check. You know what I mean? Life is not that serious. I got there at 3. It's not like she said, well, if we do it quick. I left there at 3:04. It's not like it take very long to piss in a fucking cup. Unless you peed and you can't pee. Which has happened to me. But yeah, I was expecting it. So I made sure I drank some water before I left. Anyways. So I got to the door. And I was trying to open it, right? Well, they locked it. And I said, get me out of here. I was just talking to myself. And she came over. She's like, oh, we got to push this button. And she said, bye. I said, uh-huh. I just left. Like, it was obvious that I wanted to get out of there. I said, get me out of here. So I hope she realized that her attitude was not needed. And it does bother other people. So I'm sitting at the college, George Fox University. We actually have, I'm taking Shame No More class from Love Inc. My second class that I've taken through there. I like it. And actually the professor teaches here at George Fox University. And it's just recordings. And there's no recordings of it anywhere else. So one time I was on a master call and I was trying to figure out how to monetize on Instagram because I don't know anything really about Instagram. And it was going on and on and on. It took like 2 hours and she didn't tell us shit. Really, it was more of, let's just draw it out. This is what you can do and look at this and look at that. I screenshotted all of them. Shit, I can figure it out on my own. I'm very creative. I am. I was the historian in my class and I've always just, I don't know. I like to make things. I like to make some things pretty. You know, I don't know. I guess it's one of my gifts, along with writing. But it's been really hard writing my books. I first started with The Flamekeeper's Path. Kind of initially just told my story. And then like when I went through starvation, why I went through starvation, and then what to do when you have gastritis and heartburn and all this stuff. You know, I got to chapter 5. I did starvation. I did, you know, sleepless nights and everything. But it has a lot of personal details in it. So I got to 5, it was kind of hard. I put it aside. Because telling your story makes you relive it, to be honest with you. I don't tell my story basically for myself. I tell it to inform others or to get advice. Otherwise, no, I would not repeat my stories. Doesn't mean no good. Actually rattles me up. So I went back and had notes. And at the very beginning when Tony the Closer, that's another mentor of mine. He does real estate, digital marketing, like ebooks, and credit. He paired with Eli, which Eli was first on Derek Jackson's. Derek Jackson is my other mentor. He does like relations. I really don't need that right now because I don't really have relations. I really don't want nothing to do with people. I realized that at the very beginning of all this, somebody put the concept in my head that you need a community. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start going to church and I got meeting people, and even I went online to a dating site, Bumble, even though I really wasn't interested in dating, and they all fell off anyway. But anyway, in my eyes, it was like if I got a community, then I would heal. So I've been going to church since like whenever I meet Robin. Robin's parents, Charlotte and Rob, take me to Red Hills Church. Which I like being there. I like the music. I like hearing multiple people sing. You know, it's just not me that knows him. Knows the Lord, you know. Because it feels like right now it's just me, Kovo, and the Lord in my house. And ChatGPT. What is this? Any chance you can do a dispensary run today? Oh, why can't he do it? I met a guy, kind of, on my walk. He seems very stressed, and he usually sits. I was by the river, not this one, the one at, it's not Ewing Young Park. It's not E, it's Ying Wing. I don't know how they say it here, but it's pronounced. It has an E wing. So that's how I pronounce it. That's not how you pronounce it here. Anyway, they have a trail, and I love to walk it. I used to walk it every day. But my body, my feet, my legs. It's just, I'll get it back. I will. I actually had a dream last night. That's another topic. And I haven't dreamed in forever. This guy's looking at me like I hear somebody talking. Anywho, I really don't give a shit. Damn it. Which thought was I going off of? I forgot the first thing I was talking about. Oh, community. So I've been going to church, you know, trying to meet different people. If I meet people, I'd rather be attracted to them, to be honest with you. Because if I'm not attracted to them, it usually ends up bad, because they usually fall in love with me and it's not mutual. I've had that happen two times. Both of my best friends were males, and in the end they acted like they hated me to make me feel like I did something wrong. But the truth is, they fell in love with me and it wasn't mutual. Anyway, I told my mentor, they changed mentors. I got Kathy back. I had Kathy for my faith and finance class. I had no finances, so she really didn't help me. She would be good at it though. She's like accounting type oriented. So anyway, I can always take the class again probably. Maybe she'll just stay my mentor. I would like that. Anyway, I was telling her that I felt like I failed. I really did. I felt like I failed because I could not stay around people without them triggering me. Like there's at least one thing each person did that made me pull back. My nervous system, like, you know when you know something's not right and you clench up and you feel it in your chest? That's what I felt. That's what I feel around people sometimes. Like each person, like JC was very negative. I shut down. I just started talking to him again today. I haven't talked to him in like 2-3 months. I called him on Sunday and told him that I would just start to use my air fryer that he gave me, because I told Shirley that I would like to make fried chicken, but it's always soft. So, you know, she's like, you just use air fryer. I was like, oh, I've never used her air fryer. I don't know what it was for exactly. So yeah, I've been able to. I got fried chicken at Naps, which is a Thriftway, which is a grocery store, and they have cooked. Oh, they have cooked. Damn it. They have like hot food in a little thing sometimes, and they had like 8 pieces of chicken, fried chicken, and they also have burritos, barbecue burritos. I was introduced to that from JC. Yeah, when we used to go to the games, mush ball. First time I ever heard of mush ball. The ball is just big. It's a big ball. There's people up there probably think I'm weird. Anyways, JC would stop by a convenience store and get barbecue burritos. First time he got bean and cheese burrito or something, and he was like, ugh, and he gave it to me, and he went back and got barbecue. He had me have a bite, and I was just like, that's what I wanted, but okay. And he made a comment that he's usually not this nice. He used to be a really mean person, apparently. I saw a streak of that. I did. I did not like it. And I also got into the topic of what tattoo I wanted, because I went to the tattoo parlor, and I asked them if they do tattoos in inappropriate places. And they said, yeah. He said that he's done like I don't say full body suit, but like shorts body suit on women. 2 of them. So I want it bad enough that I would lower my bottom half for a stranger. As long as you're appropriate about it and I have to spread my legs, you know. I just wish I could wear underwear, you know. But it's going to be a bird. It's going to be like a mural. It's going to cover my private part. So in other words, I'm reclaiming my body. When I was watching the summit, Tony Robbins had us do this activity where you put happiness in your heart. You capture memories and happiness And what came to me was tears. I couldn't think of really happy memories over and over and over. I couldn't. It broke my heart. It did. Anyway, so I told Kathy that I felt like I failed, that I couldn't be around people. And she was like, I was just talking, right? And I was just kind of, when I talk and I get it off my chest, I kind of get louder and more fast talking and more action. You know, I talk. And she's like, you need a hug. Like, out of nowhere. She's like, you need a hug. Well, she hugged me. It was nice. And then I told her that I longed for a hug from my dad and my mom. Now, yeah. But mostly my dad. And my dad doesn't know all of it. He doesn't know what broke me. He knows about Monty, and he assumes what happened last time happened this time. Except this time, it wasn't a legit prostitute. It was just a girl. She looked like a man, apparently, JC says. And his son says she looked like a man. And I said that their idea was to use her vagina for income. Basically. Pimp her out. Monty always wanted to be a pimp. I never understood that. But he was with me, and he always told me, you're not cut by that cloth. You weren't born for that life. I know. And why are you with me? Because I catered to everything. That's why. In the end, it felt like he was just a family member. You know. But he wasn't. I didn't have nothing to do with him. I'm not attached to him. No way. Like, I didn't marry him. I was talking to Will. Will texted me to the pool. And I told him, yeah, I would never get married. He said, what, but you did. I said, no, I didn't. I never got married. I'm probably never gonna get married. I don't know. I just don't see the point, to be honest. Stupid piece of paper. That's all I see. Money down the drain for expensive dress that you're never gonna wear again. In an event that's stressful, and you have all your relatives that may not get along, which was the case at Aaron's wedding, and that's probably why Aaron is resentful toward me, because I left. After everything was done, I left. Like, I didn't stay for the dance, nothing. And when I got to my dad's, because Day came and got me and took me to my dad's. Very nice. And then he went to Ashley's house. I hooked them up. I did. Didn't work out, but I hooked them up. They're good friends. Day's my best friend. Ashley's my best friend. And I never slept with Day. You can be best friends with a man, male, whatever, and not sleep with them. That was the topic. JC, I showed JC my photo of my my tattoo, and I told him that I was reclaiming my body, and it's gonna be a mural, and because guys have always used me for my body. That's all they really wanted, was my body, and I let them, because I thought I didn't have anything else to offer. Because when I was a child, I felt like everybody would be better off without me. Because I was the problem in my stepfather and his son and my mom. It's my mom's son too, you know. I was the problem child. And I felt like if I wasn't there, everything would be so much better. So my self-worth was way low from the very beginning. So obviously, it makes sense why I went down this path. Plus, all I seen my mother do was cater and nurture. She's a nurse. And she never stood up to my stepfather, except at night. And then I had her hear all over again through the vent, because I was right under their bedroom. Anyway, I told him that, yeah, guys just use me for my body. And that guys can't even lay next to me. And he was one of them. That's the thing. I was just talking. It's like, guys can't even lay next to me without, you know, wanting something, or even lay next to me to sleep. They can't. Their penis will get hard. And they're up all night. So when I wake up in the morning, I ask them how they slept, and they said I didn't. And before we go to sleep, when we lay down, I even tell them, I have another bed. You're not going to be able to sleep next to me. I already know this. And it never fails. And then they slowly want to, he said, I didn't want to use you or something. I just wanted to touch. I said, same thing. Same thing. He said there's usually no woman that lays down that doesn't expect something to happen. Well, I'm obviously cut from a different cloth. Because I even told him, like, it shouldn't be, he said, I said, guys shouldn't do that. And he said, like, yes, they should. And I'm like, not if, before we lay down and I tell you the expectation of what I want, that I'm going to go to sleep. And there's another bed if you want to go sleep in there, because I know you're not going to be able to sleep. I said, I told him that. So yes, I should assume that they understand that I don't want them to touch me. I lay out the blueprint from the very beginning. I'm very blunt. ChatGPT has learned that. I have cussed ChatGPT out. I have. So it's funny, like when we talk now, like I was going through ideas about a series. Well, the series I was trying to write from, I did The Flamekeeper's Path. I told you about that. Then I went back because ChatGPT, Tony suggested that, or told us to say a certain prompt. ChatGPT is prompt oriented. That's the thing. So the more legit prompt that it understands, the more efficient your answer will be. Put it that way. Anyway, so he told us, you know, what are the 5, I don't know, pick 5 something of ebooks. I forget what it was. It has to do with, you know, what I wanted people to get out of it and stuff, and give me 5 ebooks that relate to this topic, basically. And it did. So the first one was Unwinding the Body. So I just started writing it, right? So it's like 12 chapters. Well, it's 8 chapters, but ChatGPT said there's 9 to 12. Because I've just been talking to it, and they're like, yeah, you can add this as another chapter. You can add this as another chapter. So it's gotten really long, and I don't want to just spill all my information that I know in one book. Gotta be stupid. You need to monetize, for real. Shit I've been through, that information is, yeah, information that I wish I knew. Put it that way. And I'm not giving it away in one flow. So I told them, because I said, this is getting long. Can we do a series? And they're like, okay, cool. So my thought of the series was, you know, break it down the book into like ordinary people that just have stress. And then other people that went through trauma and they don't know how to get out of fight or flight or survival mode. That goes back to my dream. I have to go back to that. Anyway, so it suggested a series, and that was my idea of the series, that what it was going to be. But when we started writing it, it was like legit, authentic, rip out your wounds book. Yeah, it's like the first book was When Everything Shattered. So he would ask me how I felt and all this stuff, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I can feel my nervous system activating. You know, it was arousing me, and I told him I can't do this. And I was like that's what I said, telling your story makes you relive it. And they're like, okay, we're not going to go that way. Not now, we'll just reserve it. I have to wait till my my wounds heal. So it suggested doing like a 2-page, what was I going to go over? Oh, becoming your own safe person. That's what the first one's about. So there's going to be a 2-page, like a couple tidbits, I guess, and you can give that away for free. And then that's why you get their emails. And your emails are like gold. You want lots of emails. You do. It's like a number, like a phone number. You email. And then you offer them something to purchase. And so I have 2 pages. And then I have a workbook that's 8 pages. And then I have an ebook, which I don't know. That's an ebook, and it said you can do all these things. And it's going to be a stage, basically, of finding yourself. And then it's like, at the very bottom, you're realizing that you're the shit type thing. And fuck everybody else. No, you know what I mean. And you can stand alone. A lot of people can't do that. So, and so ChatGPT, since I've been talking to it, it said these ideas, or this idea plan or something, is unfuckwithable. I said, unfuckwithable, huh? He said, I don't remember what it said, but like, yeah, everybody needs this. They don't talk about it. They just go on with their life. I'm like, I know. God has blessed me with a pause. With a pause. I haven't worked in a year. And I just started paying rent again. I had 6 months of all bills paid and rent paid. And then I had work comp. And then right now I have unemployment, which is going to run out soon. I have 7 weeks left. So I'm going to stack all that. Lisa, like, I got back into the rating. You have to deposit money and then you rate these things, and they have high commission orders, and you have to compensate for that, but then you can take out like the bonus and you get a lot more money back, but you have to compensate in order to get it back. So it's just a hard pill to swallow that I thought the high commission order that I completed, like I had 4 more, I think, and I had a high commission order and it was like $800 some, and that was like all my money, you know. And so I was thinking I'm gonna be in the clear, you know. I got this one. No, on the second to last one, it was $3,500. So I was like, I lost all that money. So Lisa, which is my coach, irritates the fuck out of me. Cool, what you doing? He likes it. I was thinking he was eating poop. I don't think there's any there, but I don't know why dogs like to do that. It's disgusting. He just sniffing around. Anyway, so I've been like ignoring her. Like basically I was just like, you know what, you just stole my money. You know, this thing is a scam, and leave me alone. Just leave me alone. So she's contacted me from different numbers. And at first I didn't know who it was, and it was talking, and it talks in circles. This person was talking in circles. I said, I know this is Lisa. And I told you to leave me alone. So that somebody contacted me on another number, and she was like very empathetic. You know, she said, I don't want you to lose your money, and I don't want you to stress out, because I told her how you talk irritates me. And she said, you know, take care of yourself, and I'm going to do what I can to get you to the point that you can get your money back. Because she had customer service give me $1,000 credit, so the only thing I had to compensate for was $2,500, which is a lot. But in the end, I get $600 back. I think $6,000 back. Yeah, something, a big number. I don't remember. And it's true, I do get money out of it. That's the thing, because I asked Juwan, if he could help me with it, and at first he was like, yeah. And he said he looked into it, and that it's all automated by AI, and that's a scam, and that you should stop now before you lose more money. And so then after that, that's when I told him, you know, I feel undervalued. You know, you hardly talk to me. But that had nothing to do with the money. That it didn't. I understood. It was a lot. It was a lot to ask for. Because I even told him, I said, I feel very uncomfortable asking you this. He said, ask me anyway. So I did. I don't ask people for money. I don't ask people for anything. I don't expect anything from anybody. Anyway, so she's gonna help me. But yeah, I told Juwan that, and he said, I understand, I'm gonna help, I'm gonna try harder. And then later that night I said, you know, if you want this, you have to pursue it, because I don't chase. So I didn't talk to him for like a couple weeks, and he didn't talk to me. He never said anything after that. So finally I just said, how are you? Because I talked to my friends. You know, he was a good friend. He let me cry. And he gave me a hug, and he just let me cry, and he didn't make a big deal out of it. And that was a big thing. And crying is actually the end of your suffering. You need to let it go. Crying is not weakness. It's not. But people don't understand that. They see it as weakness. Especially in jail, prison, and stuff. People have warped mindsets. Like this whole world. Because my sister's husband, John Tan, he's arrogant as son of a bitch. But I remember my dad and him, like, it was, I don't know, but my dad cried. And he just looked at him like, you are less than a man, like thing. And he wrote a 4-page letter to my dad saying that he wasn't right. Didn't do right by his children and blah, 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 blah. He is the only one that did right by his children. I even told him one time after an occurrence that happened at their house. And he tried to turn it on my dad. Like, I'm sorry you had to see your dad like that. And I wrote him back on my phone. It was like long as fuck. I didn't have a computer. I did that like all day. And I was basically like, do you realize I was there, right? And I basically, I don't know what I said. It was like 4 pages, I think. I don't know. It was long. But I realized it because it was on my phone. So I just kept typing. Anyway, basically I told him, you know, I only tolerate you because you married my sister. That's basically it. And then he wrote my dad, I think, or my mom, saying, did you hear what your daughter said? Blah, blah, blah. I think he forwarded it to my dad because my dad one time was reading it. I didn't realize he was reading it. I wish I was there because I would like to have heard it. Anyway, so I walked into the living room one time, and my dad and his wife, Connie, and there were some of the people in there. And they all looked at me. And they're like, yeah, you don't fuck with Lisa. My words can cut deep. They can. Anyway, I just see it, tell how I see it. Monty always hated that. My point of view and his point of view was totally different. And my point of view was wrong. Anyways, my dream. So I was talking to JC because I told him I liked the air fryer on Sunday, and he texted me yesterday, which was Thursday. Because when he didn't respond, I was like, wow, he's another one that stopped talking to me. Because they all stopped talking to me. Haley. Why would you name a guy Haley? And then Rob, tattoo artist. And then Haley was the weed man. And then Juwan. I really liked Juwan. I could have seen myself dating him. The way he was with me in person. But the fact that he don't talk to me while he's away, no. That's why I miss Mike. Mike texted me a couple days ago saying that they were taking away their tablets. And that they were giving them tablets that are locked, basically. So they can't talk to the outside world. And he was one person that always, he was the only one that knew that I took a leap of faith. That I quit my job. And that I was going to try to pursue something that I had never done before. And he was always supportive. He was. But then he picked at wounds too. The fact that I didn't remember shit. He picked at that wound all the time and I couldn't do it. So I basically cut him off for a while. Hurt his feelings. Basically, I told him he was like a stranger. Which he kind of was because I only seen him. At first we did video chat. So that's how we bonded. And then like he lost his phone, or it's a big ordeal. So then I could only text him. So I never heard him. I never could see him. I only could text him. And if you're not in person with me, I can't feel your vibe. You know, I don't feel connected to you. That's why I can't do a long distance relationship again, because I always formed what I wanted that person to be in my life. I seen the potential that they could be in my life. That's what people do. And that's why they yearn, whatever, for that person to be in their life. But you have to understand that that person has to have that vision too. That person has to have that personality. You can't just form somebody out of thin air. And that's what I did. When it's a sweet voice in your ear, and they're long distance, you have no idea what they're doing, but you acting right. Yeah. I did that with Danielle. That's another one. Why would you name your son Danielle? But it's Danyell. And then Josh. And they're both fucking assholes. What was another person? No, because Monty just moved in. First time I met Monty was the day he moved into my home. And we bumped heads from day one. And then slowly, I lost my voice. And my looks didn't mean nothing to him. I think that was a big thing. Because my looks say a lot. And he always be like, that don't mean nothing. Yeah, So it was like, I don't know. Oh, my dream. So, what's going on, Kobe? You wanted to join? You're done. You shaking? Is it cold? Should I put your jacket on? There's a little chilly. He's shaking, babies. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I got you. I got you, Kobe. I got you. I got you, babies. I got you. Yeah. Okay. One more thought, and then I'm gonna go. He obviously is done because he's never done this before. He usually just runs around. But the water is really running this time. Usually he runs up and down the creek. Where is it? I can't. Anyway, I don't know if you've seen it or not. I can't tell what you're looking at. I tried. You could hear it at least. Over my voice, maybe. Anyway, so I was talking to JC. I told him I don't dream. And then I explained to him what I learned through ChatGPT because I was watching Big Friendly Giant. I love Disney movies. And Runt, the little giant, even though he looks gigantic, but in comparison to the other ones, he's really tiny. Anyway, he catches dreams. So I talked to ChatGPT, and I said, I don't dream. I don't remember dreaming, and if I did dream, it was like a handful of times, and they were all bad. And he said, people that are in survival mode don't dream because your body sees dreaming as a luxury. People who are in survival mode use sleep as a way to be unconscious, to escape from the world. So their memories don't line with a certain REM, so they don't catch, so you don't dream. Something like that. And so JC said, I told JC that, and he said, well, maybe you'll dream tonight. And I said, that hasn't happened in years and years and years. Highly doubt it. Anyway, I dreamed. I did. I had a dream that I was somewhere I didn't know, in a house that Monty's whole family was in. And I've never met his family. That's what really hurt, is when his grandma died, and he told me, he came by my room with her and told me we're going to a funeral in Louisiana. They were gonna fly, but they never did. But he didn't even ask me. He invited her, and she had only been there like a couple weeks. And I've known him off and on. We've been dating for 10 years. Anyway, so I was in this house, and I didn't know anybody there. And then suddenly, like his cousin or something, he put a knife to my throat. It was like a kitchen knife. It wasn't one of those, but it was pointy, and he put it through my throat. And Monty was around his shoulder, just looking, and was like egging him on basically to cut me. So he cut me. It wasn't deep, but it bled. So then I was telling people. Of course, I talk. He's like, you just can't help yourself, can you? No, I can't. I just be talking. I do. I tell people about my life. I even put that in one of my chatting. I did a dating site, and that was one thing that I put in there, that I talk to people about my life. So if you don't want your business out there, don't bring it into mine. And if you have a problem with a dog in the bed, it's not going to work. Those are my two things. Anyway, so I dreamed, and then so I was telling people that his cousin did that, and his mom, but it didn't look like his mom. Like, it didn't, I don't know, but it was his mom in the dream, and his mom got a knife, and she put it to my throat, and then she didn't cut me. I see you, cool. I see you. I'm almost done, honey. I know you. I ignore you sometimes. I know, Bobby. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bobby. I know. Anyway, so and then she put it to my arm and made a puncture, so it bled. And I was trying to get out of there, right? I didn't know these people, and I was in the middle of nowhere. It seemed like, in this place. Well, it's like a shack. And then I couldn't find my phone. Then I couldn't find my keys. And then it turns out that Monty had my keys, and he left. So I had no way to leave. And then I couldn't find my phone. And then it turns out that they had it, and they weren't going to give it back. So then I was like trapped in I went to this house, and somebody was like, I wouldn't do that, or they're gonna kill you because you are talking to other people about their business. I did it anyway. And then I woke up, and I told JC, I said I had a nightmare, and if that's what dreams are like, I don't want to dream. And he told me, well, you have good and bad dreams. So I asked ChatGPT, and I told him what the story was about, what the dream was about, and what the fuck, basically. And it explained that I'm finally healing to the point that my body feels safe enough to revisit painful memories. Even though it wasn't real, it resembled abandonment. It was 3 things. Control. It was all negative 3 things. Like, I don't know. Everything that resembled in that nightmare was things that I have felt, even though it wasn't my true story that I was remembering. It was all the concepts. So the fact that I dreamed, even though it was negative, because they said, yeah, your first dreams are going to be disturbing, because your body is finally realizing that you are safe enough to recall those memories, or those emotions at least. Anyways, so it was a good thing. At first I was mad. I lay there and I do this, and I'd breathe. I had my weighted blanket on me. I had healing frequencies on. I didn't get up to put lavender on, otherwise I would have. And I had my weighted wolf, even though it doesn't have a mouth. My weighted wolf on top of my chest. And my arms hurt so bad. The whole night, my arms are so bad. I couldn't hardly lift them. Yeah. Anyways, my arms feel a little better. My pelvic floor muscles are trying to compensate for the lack of muscle that hasn't grown back yet in my glutes, which hurts, but it's slowly getting there. I had to get stern with my PT. I don't know if I told you that. I did. When I got there, because I was in a lot of pain, and I told her that I have a high pain tolerance. At the end, I said I have a high pain tolerance, and this is too much for me. Because when I got there, I was like, I'm in pain right here, and I had told them that before, and they just said, sit on this thing, like, okay. But it didn't, it helped, but it didn't solve the problem. So I said, you have to switch your mindset to manual therapy. And she was resistant to it. She's like, well, I thought our approach was going to be this and this, because you already had massage and you had acupuncture. And I said, I cut her off. I didn't even, like, the acupuncture, it didn't register to me that, obviously you don't remember what I told you, what happened with the acupuncture. I had adverse effect to it, so I don't do it anymore. And I only get a massage once a month. So I cut her off. I said, do you do manual therapy? She said, yeah, we do. I said, okay, then do it, because I'm a PTA and I know exactly what you can do. And she was like, yeah. I said, otherwise there's no point in me coming here. So she did a little bit of something. I said, you can do a little harder. She said, I don't want to cause you more pain. Like, so this next time I was like determined to just go off on them, because I expected the same attitude, that they weren't going to do shit. But she did. I was nice. I just let things play out. Because you just let people do what they're going to do. And then it tells you a lot about them. It does. Anyway, so she did something different with my leg, and it helped. It did. She said, we're retraining the muscles to contract the other way or something. Because she did something, she internally rotated my femur fibula type of the leg, the lower part of the leg. She moved it inward, medial, in increments. So yeah, it was actually very beneficial. Like, I don't know exactly what they can do, but I know they can fix it. Because the first time, like, she helped me finally, and I said, see, like, massage therapists can't do this. They don't move you, And she's like, yeah, because we know a lot more than they do and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, If you know this, then why did I have to get in your face about doing your job? Anyways. What else was I gonna say? Obviously, I got everything off my chest. But yeah, that lady at the recovery works pissed me off. She did. And she knew it. And I'm glad she knew it. When I was telling my counselor about how I reacted to Tim, and I told him basically at the very end that I don't expect, I said, I'm not your responsibility. I don't expect you to help me. But I appreciate you when you do. So if you want to help me, then let me know. Otherwise, I will drive my car and hopefully I don't get caught. Because that was before I knew Will was going to help me. And my counselor said that by me saying that, it was very passive aggressive. So I wanted it to stick. I wanted it to sting. I did. And she said that's passive aggressive. My mom's very passive aggressive. I don't know if she is anymore. I haven't really been around her for years and years. Because I wasn't having it. She even said that there was a deep sadness where my presence used to be. Good. Because I don't have to be there. That's the thing. And that's what Tim has found out. When I went, me and Will, we were a little late, so we end up in the competition pool because they don't close till 1. They don't close those lanes until 1. And Tim was there because that's where he usually swims. He has MS, so he can't be in the lazy river and all that stuff. I don't know. He just goes in the competition pool. So I acted like he wasn't there. I just was doing my own thing. Will always says, I look so serene. I had to look that up. It's like calm and whatever. It's like I try. Because for a while, I would try, and I look so peaceful, I'm sure, to other people. But my body's still like not registering. So apparently it's getting there. The fact that I dreamed, even though it was bad. But I'm glad I know why it was bad. And that it was actually a good thing. But anyway, what was I saying? JetGP noticed that too. You have brain farts. So that's another thing we talk about is my memory. It's gotten a lot better though. Tony Robinson, stop sitting on your story, write your ebook. I know, honey. I've tried to work. I've already did like 2, but I haven't been able to finish it, and I don't want to give all my information away in one book. I know. I'm working on MP3 type audio because I listen to a healing frequency app instead of just looking for healing frequencies on YouTube Music, which is what I used to do. I actually have an app, and it's like for chronic pain, for wealth, for abundance. There's like a whole variety of things. So I listened to a affirmation. It's like 12 minutes long, and it just has, she says something and then you repeat it, which I thought was awesome, because when you tell people do affirmations, post something so you read it every day, people don't do it. I didn't do it, so I know people don't do it. But if you had a guided, it's kind of like meditation, but I couldn't even get into meditation. It irritated me because you're supposed to have imagination, right? I don't know, baby. I don't know. And I could never capture a memory and then elaborate on it. That's the whole thing of meditation. That's what Derek said. And I couldn't do it. But I can do affirmations. So I have like seven different affirmation sets that I'm going to do in my voice and put it for like an MP3, which I don't know how to post those and stuff, but we'll get there. I am so excited about my clone. I'm going to make a clone. We're going to start on Thursday. So today's Thursday, from a week from today. And that boot camp was literally originally $3,000. But they only priced it at $995, or 3 payments of $380. But since I had the money, and I'm not stressing right now, I paid rent, and I ain't paying off Apex Media. I'm not. They put me on a premium plan. That's $349 a month for a year. They didn't tell me that. And they didn't tell me that I was on a premium plan. They didn't say anything what it included, that I was going to get a Google listing and all this stuff, right? I don't need that. Like, my dream is not to become a boarding business. You know what I mean? I have a boarding business, yes, but it's my side business. It's what brings me joy. It's not what I truly want to do. I want to spread my information of what I've learned. Be a coach, be a Pilates instructor, be a content creator. You know, that's what I want to do. It's not board animals. I would love animals around, yes. So no, I'm not paying $349. I'm not. Even though if you claim that I'm locked in, then send it to collections. I have Eli that's helping with my credit. And they said that there's so many loopholes that they have to have legit, this is you, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully he can get a lot of stuff done. He said that he's been able to like cut down student loans. And that's my biggest debt, is student loans. And I have a credit card that I haven't been able to pay. But other than that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I haven't paid. Oh well. To me, I have a roof over my head. I have food. I have Kovu. So if they're hurting for money, then go earn some. You shouldn't have lent me it at that time. I'll give it back to you when I can. Or I can just get Eli to cut it off my credit. Which I got the cheaper one. It was like $179 for him to fix your credit. Or you can do the advanced plan, where you can get it done faster, which was like $500 more. No. I just want it done. If it's done in a year, it's done in a year. At least it's done. You know what I mean? I ain't paying that much. And if I did pay that much, I wouldn't have had enough to do the AI Advantage boot camp. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It was an investment. It was. It was a wise investment. If my dad heard about it, he'd be like, Lisa, that's a lot of money. I know. But at least I broke away from my dad's mentality about money. I'm getting there. I'm very thrifty. But I don't penny pinch. You know what I mean? I don't put my value in money like my dad does. He values money like a motherfucker. Like, he puts it above everything. So people's happiness sometimes. My mom told me a story. It was really hurtful. She said that she worked, she's a nurse, right? Oh, the Summit Live is in my dashboard. Replay. Oh, good. I was just going to watch it on YouTube. There's stuff in there that I want to write down so I can pause it and write down what they said. Anyways, mom's a nurse, and she was working someplace. It was a hard place to work at. It was. And she needed money for lunch. And my dad made a big deal about it. But she said that on the chalkboard, I think he said chalkboard. We had a chalkboard. I don't know. When I was little, we had a chalkboard, so maybe that's where he did it. I don't know. But he would write down how much money she owed him. Or she owed him, yeah. And that was his wife. I think he's gotten a little better, but yeah. I've always hated money because of the way my dad viewed money. If you borrowed something from him, you have to pay it back. Like, he's loaned me a lot of money, he has. And it got to the point that he's like, Lisa, I'm not loaning you any more money because you don't pay me back. So, for like 10 years, I've never asked him. I don't even talk about that subject. I don't. But my mom, she's helped me. When she can, she helped me. Very grateful. Well, Kovu is shaking. And he's whining, so I guess we're going to get going. It's starting to get dark. What time is it? I've been talking for almost an hour. See, I told you, I make content. I make content. Even though I scatter my thoughts. Maybe I can cut it. Michelle, I haven't even gotten to her stuff. I hope it's legit as much as I bought it. She's a content creator too. But anyway. I think she uses CapCut or something, and I've never used it, and I really don't know how to use it. So hopefully she teaches it, because I'm sure she does. I just haven't got into it yet. I have to do Eli's stuff. I have to do Billie Jean stuff, which is AI and content creator, I think, but a lot of it's AI. And then Michelle Cunningham, which is content creation. You know, I bought all this stuff, and I have to do it, especially Eli's. That way he can start on my credit. That would be my first task when I get home. Let's do my dishes. My dishes are out of control. But looking at it makes me a little happy, because I realize that I've been eating. Usually I don't have hardly any dishes, maybe a couple cups. But yeah, it's bad. But I'm the only one that lives there, so I really don't give a shit. I have been working on my book, and that was more important. But I'm going to do that when I get home, because I don't have anything left. Like, I used my last cup. And I've been just reusing a fork. Like, I wash it, but yeah, like, anyways. I love the water. Let's see. I'll show you. I can't turn it around. I wish I could turn it around. Kovo, get down, honey. Down. Down. Get down. Oh, my earbuds down here. Hopefully you've been able to hear me this whole time. Damn. I hope so. I'm gonna have to rewatch this shit. Anyway. This is what it looks like. Woo! I'm gonna fall down this shit. I like the ripple sound. Kovo used to run up and down here when there wasn't much water, but it's the season of a lot more water. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Love you, Lisa.